Hello, welcome to tonight's meeting. Hello, tonight we will be watching Far Beyond the Stars from Star Trek Deep Space Nine and discussing being the dreamer and the dream. Enjoy this meeting. Far beyond the stars. Hello.
Oh, there you go.
How are you?
Well, it depends how you look at it. On the one hand, I'm just doing the same thing I've been doing. And on the other hand, I've had better days.
That's not so wonderful. Ms. Subrina Wood.
Hey, what's everybody doing? Hi, Anthony.
Hey, that's Sabrina.
I'm great. I haven't seen you in a bit.
We are honored by your presence on this beautiful episode night.
Yeah, I had to come in for this. I was like, oh my God, I have this written down. I was like, let me talk to Heathers. I gotta come.
Being the dreamer and the dream is very important.
Yeah. So this is gonna be cool.
Yeah, because being the dreamer is great. Dreamers are great, but being the dream shows you're unafraid to act on the dream, even though people say don't. You can't because you're this.
You can't listen.
And I am not Black.
Write those words, brother Benny. Write the words.
Of people telling me you can't have this dream because you're this. And Benny Russell had it too. So I knew that we had to show this episode in this month because we could not avoid it.
Could not forget it. You can show it in any month.
Never forget. No, we had to do it this month.
Yeah, just so it had to be there.
This is the month for it. We cannot disrespect this month.
But I'm saying it's an evergreen. This is something that you should watch as many times as you want to watch it. Whenever. You don't have to wait the Black History Month to watch this one.
Well, it seemed, without sounding offensive or meaning to sound offensive.
No, you're not sounding offensive. I'm just saying it's one of those ones that you could just pull it out anytime because it's always a good story. It's good sci-fi.
Well, Sabrina, this is
the month we're talking about. It fits in any time of the year.
Well, here's the thing. This is actually the month last year that IDIC Includes Me came out.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, on February 22nd. So this month is Diversity Month.
Congratulations. I didn't know it was that long. Wow, that went by fast.
And this is why Club IDIC was named for that.
Uh-huh.
And it's
did you come? Oh no, I don't think you were at that. We had a salon one about IDIC and everyday life. I don't think you were there for that.
I have trouble because of my social and intellectual disability fitting into Star Trek groups, and I have such trouble that I've been told I'm not welcome at some. Hence, I started my own back in September because I needed a place where I felt welcome, and so I didn't struggle. So I made my own, and everybody's welcome here.
Mm-hmm. That's how we started our group. We felt like we weren't being heard in the other groups, and we were just like, well, we're just going to start our own group. So that's what the platform's for.
Yeah. I mean, maybe eventually, I don't know. It's just when you're told that, or when you hear that you're not welcome at other groups, it gets heart-wrenching. And so you decide to be the dream for yourself, and you're like, let's go start a nice group.
Don't listen to those people.
But I'm glad you guys came.
You're welcome.
Pass. What's the new word that everybody says? Yeet them out your life.
Oh, I'm too tender-hearted. I'm really too tender-hearted.
I don't think I heard that term before. So
I just heard it today. I was 1 day old when I learned that word. YEET. It means to forcibly eject something from your life.
That's great.
I said, wow, that's a good word. I'm gonna yeet your ass. Hey, who's going on the cruise? Anybody?
No, can't afford
No?
it, and
Okay.
I don't want to get COVID, even though I'm triple vaxxed.
Oh my God, I'm so freaking scared. I'm going.
I might go to Vegas.
I was scared when we went to Vegas. I went to Vegas and I didn't get sick. Oh, but I went the cruise. I don't know. But we're going. So it's Yvette,
Okay,
me, and Fran. We're all going. Oh,
I'm
so
not,
let me ask then, Sabrina, who's headlining the cruise?
Saniqua.
Oh, right. So anybody else besides the captain?
Oh, there's a whole lot of people that are going to be on. The Trenier is going to be the Enterprise people are there. Anthony Montgomery is going to be there. Dominic, who just bowed out. Ethan Phillips just bowed out. He got a partner movie, but Garon is coming in his place. I love it. Since I have been on a pub crawl with him on a previous cruise, I hope he remembers me. But I was trying to bite him. I like to
I
bite
hope
people.
you don't
Hey,
have
this is
fun.
Gowron we're talking about.
Yeah, I have a picture of me growling at him. So yeah, Bill Riley, Bob Riley. Oh, I can't remember his name.
Robert O'Reilly.
Robert O'Reilly, yeah, he's coming on, and there's a whole bunch of other people. I know. I'm so sorry, I can't remember everybody that's going to be on there, but a
Yeah,
lot of
okay.
people.
I'm just trying to figure out why you're going on the cruise. Kind of answer my question.
We're going because Saniqua is the captain of the ship, and so the Syfy Sistas are there representing. And I can't, if I meet Saniqua, Muhammad's going too, so I'm really excited. Muhammad's going
Oh,
to be on the.
Muhammad.
Oh, Nana
Oh,
visited her. She said she was going to have a drink with us after she did the show. So she said
Nana.
she would meet us on the cruise. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. I'm going to die, like right
You
here.
know what? Fun story about Nana. She did this cameo holiday party during Christmas, and I got to go because I paid for it. Yeah, it was a thing on Cameo, and she called me a storyteller, and it was great.
Oh, I know you love that.
Oh, I love Nana. She's awesome.
She's so nice.
Her and her son Django do a little podcast thing on Spotify. It's
She
called
said
Sunday
she
Dinner.
mentioned that. Okay, I haven't checked that out, but she mentioned that. Yeah,
it's
Django.
very
I love
nice.
that name.
Yeah, and I
She
just
was
hope everybody's safe on the cruise.
I want to see her. What's the thing she's promoting now? The Women of Trek. She's doing.
I think she wrote a book, didn't she? Did she write a book?
Book. I think it's a book. Yeah, I should know. I mean, she just told us what it was. But I was like in linear, out the other. Everybody's right. I mean, what's not coming on with Star Trek, right? It's like we got movies, we got TV shows. It's like
Yeah, I gotta. I know, right? I gotta catch up. I'm finished watching season 1 of Picard to go into season 2. Know what the heck I'm watching?
Right. I know you have to.
I gotta catch up on continue watching season 4 of Discovery before I get to the midpoint.
Okay.
And I'm looking forward to May so we can watch Strange New Worlds.
Have you watched Prodigy though?
Yes.
Who's watching Prodigy?
Okay, I gotta watch that. Thank you.
I'm working on it. I've seen part of it.
I did not really. I'm not big on animation, and so I wasn't really watching Lower Decks, but everybody was talking about it. So I finally watched that, and it is funny. It's funny.
Oh, you know what?
I tried to watch. I'm sorry.
Kira Knotts of Gaze in Space. They sent me season 1 for Christmas. I'm happy.
Oh, that's nice. They were so cool in Vegas. We had a fun time with them. But yeah, Prodigy is really good. I like that.
Yes.
That's better than Lower Decks.
Hey, to each thine own.
Well,
Great
Prodigy is
stories.
actually decent because when I used to go to the Starfleet command things, I don't do that anymore. It's a little slightly difficult, but I used to, and that's how I started watching Prodigy. It's actually quite intriguing.
You thought it was intriguing?
Intriguing.
Yes. I think it's a beautifully drawn. I think that's what it is. I think I like the animation style better in Prodigy. It's absolutely rich and gorgeous, and it's so that and Lower Decks is more of that kind of like Ren and Stimpy kind of thing. Maybe I don't even know if that's really true, but it's more like a newspaper cartoon.
Yes, comedic in nature.
Okay, the animation style, and this Prodigy is just absolutely gorgeous. I could watch that without the sound and just look at the screen. It's so amazing. So, and then they got a pretty good story. I'm like, oh well, what's gonna happen? And I know it's for kids because look, the Nickelodeon thing comes on, and I'm like, why am I watching this? But
Yeah,
I'm
then
like,
like
Well,
5 minutes into the
everyone.
show, oh yeah.
I'm like, well, oh no, not the diviner. Oh my God, watch out, rocks. I'm just screaming at the screen like any kid.
It's incredible. But I'm looking forward to Strange New Worlds the most because, I thought the Pike in TOS was intriguing, and I want to see Pike without the wheelchair because I saw Pike in Discovery and I was like, all right, this Pike works. I like this Pike. I want to see more of the Pike.
I want to see a lot more of that man.
And you know what? Honestly, I did some genealogy because I was looking at Gregory Peck in my mom's line and stuff. I've got Ethan Peck in my line. In my genealogy line.
Ethan is like the spitting image of his grandfather. It is scary. I've never really seen like a step generation look so much like, well, I don't know, Ingrid Bergman's granddaughter looks a lot like her too. But this is, he's just like, he sounds like him too. So I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with that. Cause okay, we got Dr. Mabinga, okay, so here's my confusion. So we have young Uhura as a cadet on this ship now. So she's gonna and so if you go to like the alternate universe, the Chris Pine one with their lovers, this is like kind of like, well, when is he gonna start talking to her? It's like,
well,
I know. I'm like, wait, when did the love affair happen? Because it can't be when she's a cadet. But
and why not? Why not? Why not?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, she's of age. She's not like. So this is like really weird.
Like you have to be at least 18 years old to go to the academy, do you not?
And she's on the ship now, so she's.
Except for Chekhov, he's a brainiac. Chekhov can do anything he wants, but
yeah, I think this is going to be very interesting. Knowing that, I don't know what the writers are going to do, knowing the other story, if they're going to bring that into this universe, or they're just going to leave that in the other universe.
Well, they brought the destruction of
I don't know, man.
Picard.
They can't really bring it into this universe because it wasn't in TOS.
Yeah, that's my thing, right? Just like a jump in for a sec. Yeah, my thing, I've been able to watch Discovery on the pretense that it has nothing to do with the original series. I think Enterprise made more sense as a prequel because everything was primitive in that show about the ship, right? But you got this Discovery, which is
Discovery has nothing to do with
technology that wasn't even in Kirk's ship. I know it's not the 60s anymore.
Yeah.
You can debate that till the cows come home, but I'm like, does it fit into how they try to shoehorn it to the Gene Roddenberry material? So I have to tell myself, okay, it's Star Trek, but it's not Star Trek. It's like kind of like another Kelvin verse type thing. You got the Roddenberry universe, the Kelvin verse, and the Kurtzman verse.
But they already did. They already did interject the Treks together because they destroyed Romulus and put that into cards. So there you go.
Huh? What? Say that again?
They destroyed Romulus, put that into Picard, and made it canon. So they intertwined JJ already.
That's one of my pet peeves. I think that's like poor writing. When you start blowing up planets, like, oh, come on. We blew up Praxis, we blew up Romulus, we blew up Quajon. I'm like, well, listen, you all need to stop blowing up all the planets because I just thought it was first they were blowing up the Enterprise every other movie. So now I'm like, all right, you're tired of blowing up the Enterprise. Now you just want to blow up all the planets. I'm like, oh my God, what? Come on. 3 planets have been blown up in this franchise. Stop it.
Wow. Maybe they got tired of killing off people, so they had to kill planets instead.
You don't have to kill anybody. You can write something different.
This is Hollywood we're talking about. To have the imagination of a goldfish.
All right. Wow.
Hi, Jake.
Hello.
Hi, Jake. Have you met Subrina?
No, I don't think so.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Subrina from over in the Syfy Sistas, jumping over here to Club IDIC. Yeah, man.
The Syfy Sistas is beautiful. Why don't you tell us about the Syfy Sistas you know, because I don't think.
Well, Heather is one of the early supporters of the Syfy Sistas, which is why I spent no way was I missing this tonight. Heather was really there when we first started out. And so we're just four sisters that talk about sci-fi, especially Star Trek, but we talk about all science fiction from a Black woman's point of view. And we have a podcast and we have social media, and it's going pretty well. So we just dropped this podcast today about this episode, and we interviewed Mark Scott Secree, the writer of this episode. So it was a very interesting conversation. Yeah. Oh my God. I don't know how we got him.
I swear to God, we did not plan this.
No, we did not plan this. Did not plan this at all. But this was the schedule. We interviewed Mark a few weeks ago, and he met Yvette out in Vegas. And honest to God, he said, I don't see many Black women in these events, and he wanted to meet Yvette. So Ryan Husk introduced Mark to Yvette, and he said, hey, she told him that we had a podcast. He said, I would love to do the show anytime you need me. We were like, yeah, okay. So he did the show. He said he would come on, and gave us his assistant's address and email, and the next thing we know, we were talking to Mark, and I'm like, oh my God. So he was such a nice guy. I'm telling you, everybody that we've met that's been involved with Star Trek has been so nice and so wanting to help us. You know, they just have really been promoting the show or talking about us or putting us on something. Sirach Lofton has been a doll, and you know, he sent us a picture to use for the thumbnail, because we wanted to use, and it's a picture of him with Avery Brooks and everybody in the cast from the show. So when you look at the thumbnail for the podcast, that came from Sirach. You're like, thank you.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was really cool. So it's been fun. So
you met the writer.
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Yeah,
so,
interesting. He's written so many other things. I mean, his resume was incredible. I mean, what Stargate, Mantis, he wrote for everything. So he was an interesting guy.
Incredible.
Fascinating.
He had a lot to say about modern sci-fi TV too. I was like, oh shit.
Oh, yeah.
So
we were like, Mark. so we had to leave it in.
What were his thoughts when he wrote Far Beyond the Stars? What were his reasons for wanting to create such a deep?
That's an interesting story. He told us that he wrote the story, and I guess it sat around for about a year. It did not have any racial, it didn't have any racism in it at first. And when he said that, I should have asked him whether that meant, did he have any Black characters in it or not? And it was Ira's idea to make it about race. I think from what he was saying, I think Mark's idea was just that it was back in the 50s, and we were talking about, this man not knowing whether he was dreaming or not dreaming, writing sci-fi in the 50s. And then Ira put the racial component in there, and then they asked Avery to direct it. So, and then it became this whole other thing. But Mark, took the notes, and they rewrote it, and he was saying that his Jewish background helped him, because we were saying like, well, why was a white guy writing this? And he was saying, well, I identify with it. We went there with him like, why did you get to write it? So, but he was really cool, and he was telling us that he gets it, and he wanted to show it, and that Ira had to really fight to get it on the air, because they didn't want to show it, because he said it wasn't covered in the usual sci-fi like Star Trek does usually. Like they kind of bury the racism in the science fiction. He said this was just flat out, the policeman shot the Black guy. There ain't nothing you can say. There wasn't any, just straight up. And he said the network really was pushing back on it, but they were adamant about getting that on. So Ira did it, and here we go. So here we go. We're gonna see this. Let's see it.
How was it any different though when, like in TOS, when they visited that planet where Kirk's old mentor pretty much made a Nazi planet though? How was that any different? It was a story that needed to be told.
because they were aliens and they were half black and half white. It wasn't a white policeman shooting a black man. You know, and so that's what I'm saying. When you cover it with an alien, it's like, oh yes, it's about racism. But when you have a cop, white cop shooting a black guy, it's like, whoa, what did I just see? So so they were like, no, we can't go that far. We've had enough Star Trek stuff where you've done stuff and we get it. But this is flat out, you got the white policeman shooting the black man in the back.
So they were afraid.
Yeah, they were like, I don't think so. But Ira got it on without the cut.
Thank God for Ira.
Yeah, without the cut of cutting that scene.
Thank God for Ira. Otherwise, we wouldn't have
Yeah.
it because we damn well
Yep.
need it. And forgive me, mother, for swearing because she doesn't like me to.
Ira, Steven Behr, our favorite Bluebeard.
I thought it was purple.
Well, yeah, I think Heather's right. It looks purple to me. I'd like to talk to him someday. That would be interesting.
I would love to have him in here, but you know, I don't have the connections. You know, I mostly talk with regular people. I don't know how to connect.
You
with
know
others.
what, Heather? I'm going to tell you a real secret about that. Yeah, you do eventually, a couple of people you have to get connections for. But I'm finding that if you just DM them, especially during the pandemic, they got nothing to do. They're just available.
Well, I'm really
I
cautious.
DM'd Linus. I said, like, hey, Linus, you want to do the show? He said when he came on to do the podcast, he said, I had nothing going on all day. I was so looking forward to doing this today with you. I was like, you need a life, dude. But
I'm really cautious about entering other people's spaces, especially with the neurodivergency. Like, people are going to say, who are you entering my space? Like, you're not welcome in my space, go away. Or who knows, like, you know, people talk and who knows what they might have heard about me and how I am. And it's
okay,
like,
I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna stop you right there. I'm gonna stop you right there, Heather. You have to let go whatever these people said about you. Because people have said a lot of crap about me. You don't have any idea what kind of bad emails and crap the Syfy Sistas get. We never mention it.
I
don't give it
apologize.
time. I don't give it space. We have been trolled. We have been called the N-word. We have been called all kinds of shit. All right.
I
So
did not
somebody
mean to
telling
diminish your
you,
experience.
no. I'm just saying. I hear and I can feel what you're doing over there, and I'm telling you right now, you just gotta stop it. Don't
Okay.
give it to him. Don't give it to him, baby girl.
So
Don't
just
give it
focus
to
on
him.
being the dream.
Focus on being your badass self. You got a real
Yeah.
great group going on. You have a wonderful mission. You have a good idea. I love you, and all my friends love you. I don't
thank
care what
you.
these other people said. I don't give a rat's ass. I don't give a rat's ass. You keep doing your thing. And when you decide that you're ready to ask somebody if they would like to do your show, you do it with all your Heather self. And all they can say is, no, I'm busy. They didn't hear anything. They don't know anything. Believe me, people don't even know what's going on. They don't know. They have no idea. They haven't heard it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't let
Yeah.
them win.
Yeah, I just thought, you know, this would be a good thing because I don't know,
It is a
being
good
in
thing.
entertainment since I was a child and being journalism for 17 years, you know, this is like, this works.
Yeah. And besides which, you can always work on John Billingsley.
Oh, yes, he's one of our followers on Twitter.
Get out. Oh, I love him.
I've asked
the
him to
fuck
come
is
to
my
things
guy?
before, but that man is obsessed with Hollywood Food Coalition. He is he's president of the board there, and he is an epic man, but he's so busy. Maybe I'll talk to him. Or Kitty
I have his
Swade, who's
email.
also one of our Twitter people.
You want his email? I'll give you his email.
Oh no, he's on Twitter. I'll message him there.
He's a sweetheart. I know. I only know him from the telethon.
But it's like, you know, I want to be the dreamer in the dream and open this for other people to come and feel safe and inclusive and happy and loving. And
Yeah.
that said, what does it mean to you to be the dreamer in the dream? Because that's the question I posed on the Facebook group, and I was hoping that a discussion would start there. So let's start it here, since nobody really answered the question in the Facebook.
Yeah.
You got to get used to
That's
that
one of
too.
those like philosophical things that people spend decades trying to figure out. How it is to be the dreamer and the dream. Like, does one manifest oneself into what they perceive? Oh my God, there I go trying to be philosophical again.
No, you're good.
If you apologize, I swear on everything. You swallow the apology.
No apologies here. No apology zone.
We already talked about this. So what are you going to say in your philosophy?
But yeah, so being the dreamer and the dream. Yeah, it's a stark duality. You're the dreamer, right? But basically, my pre-episode opinion, being the dreamer is like envisioning like all the multiple paths you could possibly take at one given time, and being the dream is what you're doing right now. So you dreamed up this group, you were the dreamer, and now you are the dream, right here, right now.
Jake looks very thoughtful. What are you thinking, Jake?
He's always thoughtful. I love that.
So on this topic, I'm not sure. This is a interesting one. Because I mean, I was kind of echoing what Anthony said. We dream up our lives, and we chart our course for ourselves. What we want to do, where we want to go. So I mean, in that sense, we're dreaming what we want to do, but we also become that dream. We've become what we want to be. So that's maybe not in the sense that you mean like, okay, but is it at the same time? Are we dreaming at the same time that we are the dream?
That's what Benny was doing. He didn't know whether he was the dreamer or the dream.
Yep.
Well, I'm taking it literally.
That's okay. You know what? That's fascinating. I love that.
Yeah, because in my world, I know I am the dream of my grandparents, of my ancestors that were here in this country. I am the dream that I would be able to go to Vegas and go to a Star Trek, that I could get on a cruise with everybody else and not be, stopped, that I could have my own podcast and say whatever I want to say and not be slapped down for it. So that was their dream. So I am their dream. And I'm also the dreamer, where I am now creating this world with you, Heather, where we can all sit down here and talk about this without everybody yelling and screaming or whatever, so we could all be in that real universe that we saw in Star Trek, where it doesn't matter what color and it doesn't matter how able you are and it doesn't matter, what alien species you are, even, you will all be able to hang out and be together just like we are right now. This was the dream, what we're doing right now. This is the dream of our parents, of all of our parents, that we would be able to sit down and chat with somebody on Zoom. We're not even in the same city. This is like freaking the Jetsons. So come on, really. Who would have dreamt this up? He's like, there'll be a time when you can be in a different city. I mean, it's like we have transporters or something, and we don't think anything of it. But this is amazing. We are the dream.
Oh my Lord, 5 people in the same Zoom box. This is amazing.
That's
Hello,
what I
Cameron.
Yeah, there's your dream right there.
Sorry, I'm late.
What did I tell you that you didn't need to apologize?
I always apologize.
We just said this is a non-apology zone.
Okay.
Well, I just
interrupt.
Lucky we're here.
I love the tie-dye shirt. Oh, I want one.
Me too.
Stepping back in time, but I love it too.
And as you were talking about how we were like all different, we're all the same people. And this reminds me of the thing I wrote as part of the self-published thing about God's crayons. We're all people. We're all just made different, like we're in a big coloring book, for goodness sake. We're all beautiful part of this coloring book and we're amazing. We're works of art, for goodness sake, in the same bloody coloring book, and that's it. We're beautiful.
No arguments here. No arguments here.
You know, Crayola just added some brown shades for Black people.
They've got.
I love that. I love that.
They've got a whole.
I saw that.
They just added skin tones.
Yep.
Yes. We are
Finally.
now in the coloring box.
Remember when we were kids and it was like skin color was this orangey peachy thing. You know, even I as a kid was like, not necessarily.
There was like orange and it was like skin tone, there was brown, and that was, and all your people were like the same color.
That's right.
Colors.
Yeah, no, it just, and now it's a whole box and they call it Colors of the World. And it's like, I think there's 30 different shades and it's awesome. I just love it. Yeah.
It's like going to the L'Oreal counter and picking out some foundations, like all these colors.
Yeah, which you can finally do, right? Yeah, when those Colors of the World came out, I'm a nanny and I just bought a box for every kid that I've ever taken care of, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
I gotta find that. Colors of the World.
Colors of the World, and the Crayola. Yeah, it's just, and you can get it at Target. I mean, they're just like mainstream, thank God. It's about time.
That's amazing. I haven't.
Yeah.
I need to buy a box of crayons.
Yeah, crayons are fun. Crayons are fun. But yeah, I remember many years ago, actually it was an ASL story time. But one of the storytellers, and I think I see it in American Sign Language because that's the way I first saw the story, but I'm not going to try to sign it because I'm not that good. But the story was that that basically God made all different colors of flowers and all different kinds of birds, and because God loves everything, God loves diversity, God loves lots of different things. There's different kinds of music and there's different kinds of birds and there's different kinds of flowers. And why on earth should anybody think that one or two kinds of people is all that God wants? And you know, and as I say, you know, watching the storyteller in sign language is much more powerful than I can interpret it into spoken English. But it was just, it's always stuck with me. It's like, you know, we have proof that that we need to have everybody involved. Everybody, you know, it makes who we are as a people stronger by all of us being together.
That's beautiful. I like that.
You know, everybody has weaknesses and everybody has strengths, and we all complement each other so that nobody is alone, and we aren't meant to be alone or sad or forgotten. And that's part of what IDIC in this club is about. So we're not sad, alone, or forgotten, or left to be without opportunities for improvement.
So supposedly the Russians said, I don't know if this is true. There's so much alternate history now. I don't know what's true and what's fake. But I don't know. You know, you don't know. Was that really? Did they really say that? But apparently there was some quote attributed to the Russians as to why they got Sputnik up before we did, and they said because we use all of our people.
Oh wow!
Oh,
I'll have to research that. I'll have to research that because
Please
I would
do.
not. Yeah,
I couldn't have made that up. I heard that somewhere, but
yeah, and
I don't know if that's like.
And it certainly rings like it could be true, because at the point that Sputnik went up, women weren't doing much of anything in this country. And in Russia, they were doctors and they were scientists. And, you know, so that that's very interesting. I will have to.
That has always stuck with me when I heard that quote. I said, did they really say that?
That's
a
true,
slap in the American's face, boy.
That makes me think of Women in Motion, remember? Because Nichelle
Is that where we heard it, Heather?
Women in Motion. That's why she went around the U.S., because she was speaking. She was trying to recruit people for NASA.
Maybe that's where I heard it. Yeah, yeah. Oh, one thing, Cameron. I don't know. You said ASL. If you guys haven't seen this movie, it's called Coda, and it's out right now and it's in the running for the Best Picture. And it's about a family of deaf parents and one son, but they have the one daughter that can hear.
Yes, I heard
Watch
an
it.
interview with Marlee Matlin and
Oh my
and her
God.
co-star. I heard an interview with them. Sounds fascinating.
It is
Look,
so great. I cried, but good cry. Happy cry.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
Coda, it's about a girl and she wants to sing
yeah,
and her parents can't hear her. And her mother, Mallory Maitland, at one line, she says, "Well, if we were blind, would you want to paint?" And I mean, she's signing this to the daughter, and the daughter's like, "Look, this is the thing I can do. Just let me do this." And
yeah,
then Coda, of course, is a musical thing. And then Coda, I didn't know this, but Coda also means children of deaf adult, child of deaf adults. So it's got like a
yeah,
dual meaning.
yeah.
Watch this. It's on Netflix or Apple Plus right now. It is
I
a
will have to.
beautiful
I'll
movie.
have to
Oh my
find.
God.
Yeah, and the whole premise of that that hearing kids of deaf families end up being the interpreter and kind of their connection to the hearing world is so true. A friend of mine, when she was 8, her older brother died, and she had to help at 8 years old. She had to help her parents like talk to the mortician, and I mean, it's
Oh my
just
God.
yeah, yeah, oh, pretty intense stuff.
You will love this movie then. That's
Yeah,
exactly what goes on with this child. She's like, I have to do the interpretation. I have to be here for all of my family. I can't, and she can't leave. She can't leave and go to college because she has to stay
yeah,
behind.
yeah. Ugh,
Anyway, check it
I will
out.
definitely, yeah, I will check it out. I will check it out.
Yeah. That sounds like an interesting film. Anyway, like, yeah, I think that's that Women in Motion thing. I remember watching it with, I think it was Syfy Sisters or someone. Syfy Sisters, I can't remember exactly. My
Yeah,
memory is
yeah.
so bad. But I can remember Nichelle talking about how she wasn't even allowed on some of the campuses because she was a Black woman, if I remember correctly.
Oh, I remember I could not apply to Amherst College because they were only
Oh
taking
my
men.
Lord, that's so
There were a
sad.
lot of schools that you couldn't even apply. I mean, there's
Yeah,
like, no, you don't get an application. I'm like, so
I'm
yeah.
so sorry. And if
yeah,
you
not in
remember,
my
I don't know,
lifetime.
have any of you seen Far Beyond the Stars before? Should I talk spoilers?
Oh, we've all seen Far Beyond the
There
Stars,
we
haven't
go.
we?
I hope
Yeah.
so.
Well, it talks about how Benny Russell struggled in his newspaper and magazine job because he was a Black man. Like, they didn't want him showing up for staff photo. He was limited in what he could do because he was a Black man.
Yeah. No, that's one of the things I really loved about that is the way they intertwined the real true racist history that is our country, and yet managed to bring it, as brutal as some of it was when he was getting beaten. It was just wrenching, but that they were able to still, without being sappy, they were able to bring it into the 24th century and actually have not resolution, but at least we got to see that, okay, there is hope. There is some progression from our incredibly brutal past. It's one of the things I liked about that episode.
Sadly, just some, barely any at all. God forbid.
Well, the interesting thing I find in this episode is if you watch The Room, they're all his friends, they're all his allies,
Yeah,
and they can't bring themselves to do anything. They try to step up, but then they can't. And I think that's the really interesting part about this. They succumb to the pressure of what is the social norm.
yeah,
They want to say something, they know it's wrong, and that's just the way, like the Jim Haddad say, that's just the order of things, that you wouldn't have this happen, and they don't know how to buck up against it. And I think that's what we see a lot of today. Like, a lot of people are very frustrated by what they hear and what they're seeing going on, but you don't know how to counteract it, and you don't know how to say anything about it. So you just tweet.
yeah. And
That's
and
interesting.
and it just, and then as a white woman, I know we are raised to be polite, so we see racism and it's like, oh, but we need to be polite. No, we shouldn't be polite. but
Call it
it's
out.
that internalized belief structure that, you know, we, as you say, we see it, we know it's wrong, and then how to move beyond it and to challenge it every step of the way.
You know, that actually, can I interject that actually, I wanted to ask this. I'm so glad you're here, Subrina, because this is actually, I want to ask you.
I thought you needed a Black person in this thing tonight. That's why I came.
I'm not trying to be offensive, I swear to God. But how can we be better allies and better, I don't know, what's the word, helpers, supporters of those who experience racism? I'm not talking just about Black people, but anyone.
No.
who
I
experiences
get your question.
racism. And I wanted somebody to be here who could answer this question appropriately.
Well, you know, a lot of times, one of the biggest problems when something racist happens to me, and thank God it doesn't happen nearly as much as it used to, but is to believe a Black person when they tell you it happened. Because that's the thing that really pisses you off, because you know some shiggity just went down, somebody said some shit to you, and then you go tell your wife and they're like, oh, but she didn't really mean it. And that's when you just go, okay, you know what? I cannot even talk to you, because you're not even empathizing with the fact that I just got microaggressed. You know, I just heard something and you didn't hear it that way, but I'm telling you, I heard the dog whistle. Believe me when I'm telling you, I heard the dog whistle. And I think that is like the main thing. And then you know what? When you believe that, when you listen to your Black friend, I don't know how many you got, but I got a lot of white friends. I have more white friends than I have Black friends. I went to white schools. I went to, so I have a lot of white friends. And my true allies are the ones that get it when I tell them this shit happened today. They're like, oh wow, man, that really stinks. Not like, but are you sure? Are you just like, maybe they meant, no, they didn't maybe mean anything. I know when somebody's telling me something, So that's the main thing. Believe it when somebody tells you that it happened. It's not like, and then the other thing I think is that when you hear it, call it out. And you don't have to be like yelling and screaming in the conference room and everything, but you could just say like, what do you mean by that? And let them explain themselves when they just said something stupid, or
one line that I find is if someone says something that's funny, I just kind of look at them blankly and say, why is that funny?
Bingo. Bingo.
And you don't have, it's not confrontational. Well, maybe,
Nope.
but it just, and then kind of let them sputter for a minute.
Right. Call it out. So, let it just sit there.
Yeah.
You think that's funny? Not even like, why is that funny?
Yeah, just why is that funny? Just
something, right? I have another movie for you guys to watch. I am also a movie from a critic, not a critic. I'm a reviewer. I was told very distinctly what's the difference between the two. It's called Gentleman's Agreement, starring who we were just talking about, Gregory Peck.
It's an old one, right?
It's an old one.
Yep, I have seen it.
It's about a man. Yep, he goes undercover and pretends he's Jewish, and he doesn't tell anybody that he works with that he's really Christian. He says he's Jewish, and he just watches what happens.
Yeah,
it's a fascinating movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on a side note, Subrina, crazy thing Moe just described is that people think I'm Jewish. No, I'm not even trying.
Aren't you Italian?
Mm.
I don't know. I just think you're Italian.
I'm gonna choke on my kettle chip. What does that mean?
You just, I don't know. You remind me of the people I saw in the Many Saints of Newark.
Mm.
So what do you identify as, Anthony?
Human.
That's good.
I love it.
Species 974. Whatever number we are. Species 1. I guess we're species 1.
I'm not species 8472.
I know, we must be species 1. They got all the way up to 84. That was the Borg that did all that.
I was going to say, but if the Borg were the one that were identifying, they wouldn't have put humans as species 1 because they were already firmly in existence before they had contact with humans.
I'm
So,
being Terran-centric. What
Yeah.
species was?
Yeah.
yeah. The, what was it they said in the Undiscovered Country? You humans are so, you know, even look at the words you're using, how, you know, somebody can be human, meaning that they're kind and gentle, which, you know,
I know
we're
that.
so, yeah.
That is it. That's one of my, you know, I have new respect for that movie. I didn't think it was that great. You know, being a sci-fi sister, I have to watch a lot of stuff over again, you know, just so I
Yeah.
can like, sound like I know what I'm talking about. But
People like the Undiscovered Country. We do have a celebrity from the Undiscovered Country in our group. Just
ooh,
Well, bring
Jeremy
him on
Roberts.
next time.
Jeremy Roberts and his wife Celeste Lamb. He played Beltane.
Oh, wow.
girl,
That's cool.
that is way cool. Yeah, that's like my, wow, I don't know what number favorite movie that is. That's like,
Number 6.
I know, I'm trying to think of like in like listening by my favorite. Like the whale one is my favorite. I don't care what anybody says.
Oh,
I love that
really?
one.
We've squeezed in the whale one later in the schedule, if you have a look on the schedule.
Then Wrath of Khan.
Yeah. Well, I like that whole arc. I love the Wrath of Khan, the whale one, which now I'm blanking on its name too. And then
Voyage Home, Star Trek
Home.
4.
thank you. Yes.
All right,
And
Anthony.
And then the search for Spock. I love that whole arc. It's, or the other way around, but that whole arc, I thought was really well done.
Yeah.
Oh, so you like movies, huh? Well, I'm gonna try and put all the movies on the schedule.
I have an alter ego. I'm known as the Cinnamon Cinephile when I review films. So I write for a couple of online magazines, and so I'm named after a film. My mother did this to me and named me after the Audrey Hepburn film. I was born 2 years after
Oh,
that movie
really?
came out.
I
She
love that
go.
named me after that movie, and she and I used to watch that movie when I was a little kid. You know, because I was
love
like,
that
"Is this the
film.
one I'm named after, mommy?" She's like, "Yes."
Oh yeah, Audrey Hepburn's in my mother's line too. I just haven't connected her yet.
Yeah, so I have a thing about Audrey, you know, and of course because she introduced the Sabrina heel. Oh, stop it! You know, I'm like, come on, I'm all about her. I'm all about Audrey. So anyway, but so I started writing reviews, and I just know a lot about old movies.
We have something in common. That's actually how I actually got into journalism in 2005. I was doing my high school practicum. I was a senior, and the person of the video store owner was like, "You want to review some movies?" And that's how I got started. And when I graduated, my mom was like, "Go apply for this journalism course."
We both have movie names. If we put an S on yours,
Oh, really?
yeah, Heather's.
Oh, mine actually means a flower. Thanks.
Put an S on yours and change my U to an A, and we're in business.
Is everybody eager to get started on the episode?
All right.
Yeah, let's go with Brother Benny.
Yeah.
Yes, brother.
All righty. Got my Netflix up and ready.
And Sabrina, thank you for answering the question. I didn't wish to offend you.
You all skipped the intro, didn't you?
Captain's prerogative. Actually,
I love that.
Yeah.
You skipped the intro too, right?
Oh, I went to the bathroom.
There's so much stuff in that episode. I just love it.
Beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful for one. Not only is there like a diversity message as a journalist and an entertainer, I can also appreciate the journalism side of it and the editing. It reminds me of college. Like, we didn't only learn about the classroom stuff, we also had to run the college paper and the magazine. So
I thought the way they cut it, that you're going back And and that's what we were saying to Mark Scott Secree, that one of the things we loved about this, yes, it definitely had this theme of racism, but it was good sci-fi. Like, you didn't know what was happening to him, and the back and forth, and the way I love this first one when Bashir gave him the pad and said, "Look at these readings," and then he was in the 50s looking at the Galaxy magazine. I mean, they just cut right. It was just they just like had you flipping, like, what is going on? And then my other favorite one when he looked out of the ambulance window and he sees space, and it was just like, oh man, what is happening to this poor guy?
Well, I think that
Well,
I wanted to tell him that you need to focus on this experience so that you don't have the motivation to give up the fight, because your work with us and the prophet's path is not yet finished for you. I know you want to be finished, but you're not finished.
Not finished. Write the words, Brother Benny. I love that line.
yeah. First time seeing that episode, to be honest. I must admit, it's quite fascinating.
That's the first time?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So now, okay, what did you think?
Okay, I'm still trying to find the words to describe it, but it's like an interesting story, you know? It's not just a generic sci-fi. It's like one of those stories where they try to make you think about stuff. Like the behind started kind of like a Twilight Zone type of thing, where you start to question your own reality, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, like admittedly, things were not too good for minority groups in the 1950s. How they might explain that. Well, anyway, he's getting along with the sci-fi ride, but I like kind of like the original Star Trek. They didn't accept that DC Fontana was a woman.
Yeah. That's who she was supposed to be.
Yeah, so it made sense to me. But what the priest said towards the end, you are the dreamer and the dream.
The dream and the dream.
Yes. And they're still not so good. My own cousin, he put on Facebook, I won't say his name, but he put on Facebook that somebody called him the N-word, because yes, I have cousins of different ethnicities, because my mom had ancestors of different ethnicities, and I'm very proud of that. I love all my cousins very much. And to hear that my cousin, my beautiful cousin, that I haven't seen in several years because of family circumstances and COVID and other things, my beautiful cousin was called the N-word, that pissed me the F off.
Wow. Not my cousin anymore.
Like, my beautiful cousin was called the N-word by somebody, and I can't do anything about that. I can't go beat them up. It's sad. I want to beat that person up who called my beautiful cousin the N-word.
Mm.
I mean, is that bad of me? I don't think so.
No. Mm. Oh.
Sorry, Cameron, we sort of got into it. We're all just full of mirth and
We all skipped the intro.
Well, except for the guy in the tie, but anyway, I may be able to catch on to the conversation all the same.
You want some trivia about this episode? Because I had to do all this research for the podcast.
Huh.
This was nominated for 3 Emmys when it came out. They actually nominated it for all the Sci-Fi Ghetto nominations. Best art direction, best hairstyling, and it also was nominated for best costume design.
wow.
And Mark told us that when they read the script, they said that everyone knew that this was going to be a very special episode, and they spared no expense. So you saw a lot of extras in this one. You saw a lot of different sets, and you also saw all the cars and everything. They went crazy, and they just like ran around the Paramount lot and got all the stuff they needed for this episode and gave you that really authentic feeling of 1950s New York, which I can't even get over that they did not win, that this episode didn't win, because I thought they really did a great job.
Has Star Trek ever won an Emmy though? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. I don't
Star
know.
Trek has won about they've won about 18 Emmys, yeah, but always for set and sound and
yeah, of course.
never acting.
Yeah, and it's also interesting, right? This story for me stands alone And like, I know everybody's supposed to be Star Trek people, maybe it's regular people, in fact, right, but to see the actors kind of outside of themselves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different world. You know, compared to the dream world, it has you asking yourself, like I said before, are we the dream or the dreamer? So am I the captain of a 24th century space station, or am I a writer for Syfy Sistas anthology magazine? Which came first?
Yeah,
And
what
that
it now
last scene when he looks out the window and he sees Benny, that one always freaks me out. That is so Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
it's like the scene in Men in Black, you know, when Kay opens the locker and they see themselves in a station of bigger aliens. Has anybody seen Men in
Yeah.
Black too?
What? What did you think about Ciroc Lofton's performance in this one?
That was incredible. It was,
I thought
and it just, and the thing that I love about this episode is you can't see any of the actors without seeing the relationship that they have on Deep Space Nine. So seeing Ciroc come on as this kind of hotshot kid, and I'm gonna, you know, I got it under control, and then getting shot, it just, it wrenches your gut, both for the times that they are portraying, but also for the relationship of Sisko and Jake. You know, it's just the way they intertwine those relationships, I find so moving.
Because they never said what Jimmy's relationship was to Benny. Like he wasn't his, you know, they never said anything, but yes, we know him as his son. So it's like
Right.
he definitely was taking like a mentorship attitude towards him, but it wasn't really, you're like, well, how does he know Jimmy? Like, what, you know, what is Jimmy to him? Is this his younger brother or what is it? But yeah, when Jimmy goes down, it's like, that's Jake.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's nice because I think that there was no need for them to quantify the relationship in 1950s between those two characters, because because you know, in 1950s in Harlem, there was a lot of, you know, the Black community was together in a different way than they are even today. And, you know, and so it's not surprising that some kind of young upstart kid is going to know somebody like Benny, who's going to be trying to pull him along. And they didn't even have to have a blood relationship for you to be able to see that mentorship. And then we, in our minds, were able to transpose the relationship to Jake and Sisko. Just, I thought that was so skillfully done.
Yeah, everybody raised everybody else, and it was just such
Yeah.
fun.
I love that everyone could finally see how handsome Michael Dorn was.
I've met Michael Dorn. I have met Michael Dorn because Michael
Dorn
is my mother's
Oof.
obsession. Worf is her favorite character, and when I was volunteering at Star Trek Las Vegas and I was talking to her on the phone about it, she was like, Heather, go get a photo with Michael Dorn because I want a photo.
Yeah.
And I
He
told
was
her that, and I was
just-
like, my mother
wow.
demanded a photo, me to get a photo with you, and he's like, oh, I guess you better do it.
Did you put your mother's name on the, did he autograph it to your mother or to you?
I just got a photo and she was happy with that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. That's
I
another
didn't have time.
$100.
I was working.
Yeah, but I was glad that they made him. They said he well, I don't know. You guys all have to listen to the podcast that we did, right? Of course you're gonna all listen. But Mark said that he was originally supposed to be a boxer in his draft, and he got changed to a baseball player somehow. But
Well, Sisko loves baseball.
Yeah.
yeah, they had to make him a baseball player. That wouldn't have made any sense if he had been a boxer with Sisko.
Well, as long as
Although we do see Sisko boxing Q.
we'll talk
in
about
the
that
episode where
one.
Bosch comes
Yeah.
back, you know.
True.
So, but no, I
It's
think
true.
I think Anthony's got a point, that the fact that our Sisko is so enthralled with baseball and it's such an ongoing thread through the whole series, it made it really, it was just kind of one more piece of the tapestry that they pulled the Deep Space Nine universe into the Benny's universe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, I know Mark gave him the basic story, and he said that the whole writer's room helped with this, create the story. Ira leading the charge, and Robert was there too. Robert, what is his name? Robert Thomas Hewitt was definitely in it too. But I just think they did such a masterful job. And there was so many things they dropped in it, like the line when Rock says, "Colored people on the moon, white men on the moon." We all were like, everybody, okay, everybody black this went. Gil Scott Heron, I got it, okay.
Yeah.
So, and Whitey's on the moon. So, if you don't know that song, look up Gil Scott Heron, Whitey on the Moon, and that was a definite reference to that song.
I'll ask my mom because she actually grew up in the United States and she was a hippie and she moved around a lot. She lived in several states, so she might understand that reference a little better. I wish she were here tonight. She could have probably contributed a lot to this discussion.
There were a lot of references in that. I mean, they put so much in that 45 minutes, 45 minutes they told that story. When she said, Jadzia's character says, "This is the best thing I've read since the Puppet Masters," I was like, oh man, okay. They're just like naming stuff and dropping stuff. They named all the science fiction people. Who wrote that? Heinlein? Robert Heinlein wrote the Puppet Masters. That was like a huge book. They named all of them. They named, they named when Pabst was reading who was in the other magazine. They named like
Bradbury.
Bradbury, yeah, they named them all. And O'Brien was definitely a riff on Isaac Asimov.
Yep.
Because he was like, oh, it's all about robots. Is it robots again? Is it robots?
Yep. Gotta be robots.
He had the pipe and everything. He had the pipe. I was like, oh my God, these guys are just like they're having so much fun. They're just really having a good time with this.
But not just the science fiction writers. I mean, then we've got Benny kind of just giving us the list of the African-American writers of the time, and I loved how then Renee's character, what's his name, but the publisher or the editor was like, oh yeah, that's just literature for liberals and intellectuals. And I thought,
wrote that down.
And that's unfortunately still the case today. I know so many people who don't know any of the really amazing Black writers of our own history. And I'm like, damn, that part is still true.
Yeah, that's still true. I mean, I think the George Floyd and the Black Lives Matter movement had a lot of influence on a lot of white people reading a lot of that literature after that all blew up and everybody was trying to grab every book they ever, never read. But I think it's also true of science fiction.
So awful. I just could not believe it. It was so awful. If I may say that, it was so horrible. Why did that have to happen?
Yeah. But I think it's true of science fiction too. I think science fiction still doesn't get, even like what we just said, where, a science fiction show would never get a nomination for best writing. Best acting, it's always like, oh, great sound, great, costumes, oh yeah, special effects, that's you. But no, I'm like, no, there was some really great acting in that scene, and I don't know what else was going on in 1998 that could have been as good as that scene of Avery Brooks going down. But show me the tape, show me who won that year, and I'll show you this episode.
That's right. And as you say, the writing was absolutely, there wasn't a wasted word anywhere in that writing. I mean, it was like that whole episode, just it all, they as I say, there wasn't a wasted word anywhere in there. And but yeah, sci-fi it gets no respect.
No, it really doesn't. Not even now when you sit and like you hear people talk about how Hollywood is making nothing but science fiction and Marvel and all that stuff. And it's with disdain that obviously the public loves it. And there are great stories within those movies.
Yeah.
But, you want Nomadland. Okay, fine. I mean, I liked it, but you know what I mean? It's like, why is it like we can't feel the same? You don't get the same feel. You didn't cry when Infinity War was over? You're a brute.
Yeah.
That was epic. Infinity War. But what else did I write here? I wrote the Puppet Master Gil Scott Heron. I wanted to tell you. Oh, the other line was when he said, if we publish the article, it might cause a race riot.
Right.
I was like,
Yep.
Yeah.
and you're sitting here right now, and what are we doing? We're banning books. We're taking it
Yeah.
off the shelf. I said, we have come full freaking circle. If my children read this book, God knows what'll happen to them. Their
Yeah.
heads will explode. It's like,
Yeah.
wow.
You know, the banning books is troubling me. It's very troubling. And when we
Very
start
scary.
controlling what children read, when we start trying to control what people read, then we start losing ideas and thoughts.
Well, and just the whole thing is just so, we're going to ban any book that makes anybody uncomfortable. What's the point of learning if you don't get a little uncomfortable?
And
You know, I mean,
if we start
Tell me.
banning books that make people uncomfortable, then we start banning people who make
Yeah.
people
In a
uncomfortable. And
world,
then we
that would
start
be-
going into a dangerous period of history that we should never want to repeat again.
Yeah.
And God forbid that I say it, God forbid that I say it, but we already had this period in history where we ended up where a bad person eliminated people that made other people uncomfortable. We don't want to repeat that history.
no.
Yeah, we're going down a slippery slope. But you don't see the same banning on TV. I mean, I've seen some wild ass shit on television that you're sort of like, this isn't banned, but you can like wait. Well, they can just say they put the rating there and you're good to go. Now, even though you put the rating there, any child can still turn on that streamer and still see this. It's not, unless your parents do the parental controls, and kids know how to get around that too. But it's like, well, don't play me like that. You're making a statement, because the kid can still, well, number one, that book Mouse that they just screamed and yelled about and had it banned, it just went to the top of the New York Times bestseller
Right.
list. So
Mouse was
there's
about
that.
the
Best thing that ever happened to that book in some ways, or at least that author, is that, but it
My
just,
girlfriend's children's book got banned. She wrote a book about, it's a children's book, for Black kids, and it tells about, the different figures in history. I can't even remember why it got banned, but it got banned. And so once she said that it was banned, it went to the top of all of the bookstore chart.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted the book. And she was like,
Like-
thank you for banning my book.
like if we start banning books that make people uncomfortable, then people are going to find reasons to start excluding others, and there goes diversity out the window. And
Yeah.
when people start saying, oh, these people are to blame for this, these people are to blame for that, then we start seeing history repeated, and we don't want to do that.
Yeah.
We're already
But I
seeing
think the
history repeated because indifference is a disease.
But I think the other thing is, I think banning books is so anachronistic, because people can get information so easily now that it's like it's just a an exercise in brutality. Because okay, you banned the book. Like, you really think I can't find this book? If I was a child, and these children can find you don't think that kid can find this book?
Well, then
You've got the internet, you've got everything else, you've got Audible,
but
you got
but
this,
the
that.
but the banning of books is to keep them out of the schools, is to keep them out of the
Yes.
libraries. So
Keep 'em
so
out of the
that's the part.
library.
But that's the part that, yeah, I mean, obviously, any kid can get any book, but that's a one-on-one, that's a one-off. But they're taking away the opportunity for kids to, as a group, read these things, discuss them, see what it means.
Discuss them.
Where does
True.
it fit in history? It's not a parent saying to their kid, you can't read that book. It's an entire, an entire generation of kids who aren't allowed to examine some of these important things that have happened, either in our own history or looking at our history a different way, which is, that's the part that scares me. Not,
Right.
yeah, kids are going to find books, but the point is that they're not even being allowed to that intellectual exploration.
well, this is why homeschool is
True.
so
You make a
beneficial.
fine and good point. You're right.
This is why homeschool is so beneficial. If the kids can't read what they want in the school, if they can't learn what they need to in the school, parents can always homeschool. And there are homeschool associations that are credible out there. And I think parents should consider homeschool because it's safe. I did homeschooling for a semester. It didn't work because my mother couldn't handle it, but not all parents are like this. And kids could benefit from homeschool.
Some kids do, but a lot of the homeschooling in this country is by Christian, you know,
Oh, really?
and I'm a Christian. I'm not
We
trashing.
we just had a
believe
whole
in
country
Christ.
doing homeschool and everybody came out of it crazy.
Yeah, but a lot of the homeschooling in this country is people who are far right, who are the Christian right. And I use the word Christian advisedly because they don't seem to follow the teachings of Christ, but
Oh,
but
I
a lot of-
understand that.
yeah, but so, you know, and I think that I agree homeschooling can be great, but it still doesn't give that opportunity for discussion, as much discussion among the peers of what's going on.
That's true.
What
I
about
understand.
socialization? I mean, those kids, well, they still play with their friends after school and everything, right? I mean, it's not like they're over there in the house all day.
Yeah, and of course,
True.
depending on where you live, I mean, if you're in the DC metro
Oh, that's
area
true.
or in Boston, there's whole homeschooling networks where the museums have homeschooling classes.
Oh, really?
You Oh yeah. So there are a lot of resources for homeschoolers. And sometimes when I kind of worked with homeschooling families, it seems like it's almost as much school because they'll be at the museum for this class at 9 o'clock this morning, and then they've got another homeschooling art class at this place. So, they're still getting a lot of the connections with other kids but just in a different venue.
Yeah. I thought another line that was really interesting in this movie was when he said, he couldn't print the book because he said, make the captain white and we can print it. Just make the captain white. And it's funny because I just did a session with Hallmark, because I write screenplays too. Not that I've written one that anybody bought yet, but
Yeah, but you still did it.
I keep writing them.
Sabrina, I'm going to cut you off because you still did it. You did something cool because you believed you could. So that is living a dream. That's awesome. I love that. We all love that. Don't we?
Yeah. So I'm in this class learning how to pitch Christmas movies to Hallmark.
I love it.
I love Hallmark Christmas movies. And they said something that really was interesting. They said that the mandate is now at Hallmark is that 40% of the Christmas movies have to be about people of color. And I just went, well, that's just as bad as the other way. It was sort of like, I get what you're trying to do, but you're doing it in the same ham-handed way that you did it before. It's like, you can't give me a number or a percentage. All I want you to do is read all the scripts and pick the best. That's all I want you to do. You don't have to make 40% of them are going to be, which is why if anybody watched Christmas movies this year, and I did, there was a movie called The Gingerbread Miracle, and it was about a Hispanic bakery that was making gingerbread cookies. I was like, what in the world? But the writer said they had the whole script written out, and Hallmark came back and said, make them Hispanic or it's not going on. And I was like, oh, that's a bad day in the office. So they had to change the whole script around. So I don't know what is going, this the pendulum has gone completely the other way. And it's not helping. You're gonna get schlock.
Yeah. But I hate to say it, that you get plenty of white romance schlock on Hallmark too.
Oh, yeah.
Don't want to get in there.
We don't need the first schlock on
white schlock on TV. It's called Days of Our Lives.
Yeah.
Diversity has
Hey,
a
I used to
long way
like
to go. It's getting there, but it still has a long way to go. That's a fair statement, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah. So if you just let everybody write, and like I said, pick the best, if you're saying you're not going to look at Black Christmas movies, you're not going to look at Hanukkah movies, you're not putting them on. Yeah. So now you got to air schlock because you got to fill that, times thing, and you don't have enough. So if you open it up to everybody, then maybe you won't have that much.
Yeah, I don't think it's bad for them to set a goal, though. I don't think, especially with the history that they have.
Goal.
I don't think it's
Right,
bad for them to say, this is our goal, And
This is
if it
this is-
encourages them to look more closely at scripts they might otherwise have put aside, I think mazel tov.
I
how
shouldn't
do you even
talk
do
because
that?
I have a meeting with a producer on Tuesday
Oh
for
my
2
Lord.
Christmas
How do you
stories.
even do
They
that
need to
though?
talk to me.
How do you
How do I
even
do that?
submit, how do you even write a script for Hallmark? I would love to do something like that. You need to PM
Uh,
it.
I haven't written anything yet. All I have is a meeting to discuss an idea that I have. There's no script.
Well,
I'm
you
hoping
need to
the
PM me
if a woman
because
says,
I would like to
"How
write
fast can you get the script done?" I'm gonna have a meltdown. What? This is yeah. You know what, Heather? It's I
Message
network
me,
like
message me,
crazy. I
message me.
network like crazy. I go to all these little crazy things you see on Facebook, and it's like this
You
thing
know
was on
what?
Facebook, and it was like Hallmark Christmas writing. I was like, oh, I'll pay $129 and go to it.
You know
And
what?
got
Heather
all
needs
these
to set,
emails from
you know
people.
what? Heather has a goal of coming to New York for her 35th birthday. So we need to meet up if I do. Like that's around like
Alright.
American Thanksgiving time. So we need to meet up
All right.
if I do.
Yeah,
When's
but
your
I'm telling you,
birthday, Heather?
November 23rd. That gives me
okay, that's the
Ah,
goal.
November 22nd.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow, how weird is that?
How weird is that?
What,
You know,
Anthony?
The 27th. I don't get,
You
I don't
too?
have a cake for my birthday. I get a turkey. If I'm lucky, I get leftovers.
Well,
What?
you know,
When's your birthday, Jake?
My birthday's in June, so
Oh, okay. We're the
Odd
outliers
man
over
out.
here.
anyway, so how did everybody like the episode? We've gotten so far off track. I don't even
Yeah,
care.
we've
I'll
gotten
say
off
this.
track.
I need better writers.
What?
You need better writers.
Anthony, I swear you say the most cutest random stuff in the world, and I just think it's absolutely adorable.
Like, I'm not trying to be adorable.
He is. He's without trying. He's adorable. And he's going red.
And all she has to say in life, I'm cute.
I'm adorable. Oh my God. So you need better writers, Anthony? Is that what you said?
Yes, if I'm somebody else's dream, okay, there's this guy doing a video chat, and I'm being written by somebody from, I don't know, 1963.
Yeah, I like the way you're taking this. If I'm the dreamer and the dream, then I want someone better writing the dream part of
want a
my
better
life.
There you go.
Yeah,
Pick up that pen.
Oh, I love that you have identical brainwaves because that just shot over the neurodivergence head. Like
Start to write the words, brother Anthony. Write the words.
this actually reminds me because Anthony actually does do a lot of, he does a lot of video blogging sometimes on Facebook. So he's actually
Oh,
very
he's
prolific.
a great photographer.
Thank
He
you.
is. He's very prolific.
Yes, I remember we saw Sabrina last time we were in person was at Eternal Con back in
Yep.
August, I think.
Yep. You were taking pictures of us.
Yep.
we were in those freaking Star Trek uniforms, man. That thing is hot. I was dying. And you did the panel, right?
Yes, the one with Slavin.
Yeah. That was a fun time. That was good. I've never been to that convention before.
Yeah, my only pain with that is trying to get there from here. But it was
Holy cannoli, for real. We were out on Long Island. We were trying to get there from, the city, right? It was like, oh my God. And we
But
had
you know
all this
what? You
shit
did
with us,
it. You did it.
Yes.
Yeah, we did it. It was raining. We had crap and we were in costumes. I mean, the life of the convention, the cosplayer is not easy.
It's not easy, but y'all did it. You overcame fear. You
Oh
overcame
man.
travel woes. You overcame cost, and you're like, let's do this con because it's here.
Yeah, to me and I came up from DC.
Yeah. So as long as you're unafraid to do something because it's there, obstacles notwithstanding, you just go ahead and you went ahead and did it, right?
That was my first, no, that was not my first cosplay. That was not my first cosplay.
I have to see these pictures now. I'm very intrigued.
They were on the Holders website. Yep, Anthony took them. There were a lot of cool cosplayers there, though.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I almost
yeah, they
came
were
in costume
serious.
myself.
You had the uniform on, didn't you? No.
No, Slavin was like, Anthony, why are you out of uniform?
Okay, really, because we were all in our, meetup or get up. We were in our Holder uniforms, and it's like, oh my god. Yeah, I'm like, I can't believe I'm this old and I'm dressing up like somebody in Star Trek, in public.
Well, it just tells me you have excellent taste.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Oh, but hey, listen, when we went to Vegas and we were in terra firma, man, that was a fun day. I've never had my picture taken so many times. The whole Holder ship, we were all in terra firma. We had breastplates and everything made up. It was insane. That was hot. And then I don't know if you that's how we met Noah AK's mother. Did I tell you that story? That was ridiculous. So Noah, who plays Ren in Discovery, he plays the Orion.
Okay.
No,
Oh yeah.
the Andorian. He plays the Andorian, Ren, right? The one that got his thing cut off and then they shot him and everything. Okay, so his mom is the big Star Trek person. So Noah AK is all, he's there. So she came with the husband and everything. And so we're all in, they called for the photographers for everybody that was wearing mirror uniforms. Come out and everybody's gonna get their pictures taken. Fine. So we're all, everybody could TOS mirror, everybody, we were like Discovery mirror, everybody mirror was there. We all getting our pictures taken. So this one woman is like, this white woman, like the whole ship is all black. So we're all standing there all, Discovery'd out. And this one woman was wearing Discovery mirror. She's a white woman. So she's like, can I hang out with you? And we're like, well, yeah, okay, fine. Hang out with us. So, we're hanging out with her. We get up on the stage with everybody, to take the big picture. There's like, 100 people just like, and then we told everybody, get off the stage. We just wanted to take the Holder ship. We just wanted a separate picture with us, right? And then there's this white woman. This white woman is in the middle of our picture. She's not even getting off this up. We were like, take the picture. She ain't going nowhere. So like, whatever. She wants to be with us. And so later on, she's like, oh, I got to tell my son about you. You guys were so cool. We were like, yeah, well, who's your son? And she goes, no, we're from Discovery. We didn't even know that then. We went to the Discovery panel. That's what it was. And we went to the panel and they were on the stage, all the Discovery people. And Noah says, hey, my mom is here. And she stood up and Yvette and we all just went, it's the white lady that was. We're like, oh my God, we were nice to her. So she was like,
that is
so
too
she told
funny.
us to come. She introduced us to her son, and that's how we got him on the podcast. So Heather, that's how it goes.
Wow, I love that story.
To everybody you meet.
That is a great story.
Oh, she cracked us up. She was hanging out with us. We were like, who is this white woman that keeps following us? And then the other one was, these two young girls came up to us and they said, oh, are you guys the Syfy Sistas? They recognized we were wearing all of our logos, right? She said, I listened to your podcast. Oh my God. And then she said, you know what? I want to tell you something. I'm not sure if you know this, but do you know that Uhura almost didn't continue with Star Trek? And do you know who told her to continue? And Yvette is standing right next to me and we just went, just let her talk. Just let her talk.
Yep.
No, who? She said, Martin Luther, all 19 years old of her, right? Martin Luther King. We went, no. She was like, I thought I'd tell you that. I was like, thank you so much for letting us know that.
And we never would have known.
Bless her heart. She was so excited to come over and tell us that we were just going to let this roll. Go on, baby girl.
And she was trying. And she was trying. But
she was so happy.
Yep. Oh, Lord. I'm amazed that you were able to do it with a straight face.
It was a minute. Let me tell you. She was so like, I'm going to tell you something that I'm sure you don't know. I'm like, oh, I'm sure I haven't heard this at all.
Yeah.
In 55 years,
what? The
I've
people
not heard it.
conventions, and I literally I literally, when I was working the Triple booth for the 2 years, oh, the people at conventions are so happy. Yes, I worked the Triple booth.
They're so happy, and there's the new people, the new Trekkies, man. You just don't want to crush their spirit. You're just like,
Right.
go on and tell me.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing, Jake and Anthony? Did you want to talk about your favorite moments from the episode?
Well, like I said, it's my first time actually seeing this episode, sitting down watching this. And basically, that's one thing I've said about, I think, like Star Trek in general, and Mr. Behr in particular, is that they're never afraid to go out there. Not just like in the like exploration sense of seeing new life forms, new civilizations, but also like, no, there's a reason they refer to Star Trek as the human adventure. And just having the introspective parts, in addition to the thing people shooting the Klingons with phaser fire. Yeah, but just look at the human condition. No?
Yes. I remember we talked a little bit about that last week, didn't we? The human condition.
What was the topic last week?
The topic was an essay I wrote about Star Trek, about how I related my endometriosis to Star Trek.
Right, your caretaker moment.
My Delta Quadrant moment,
Oh,
yeah.
Delta Quadrant moment. Yeah, we were watching the pilot episode of Voyager for that one, Subrina.
Oh, okay.
So basically, Heather was saying, oh, I'll let her answer that.
No, you can answer it. It's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, she said about their Delta Quadrant moment, how you deal with major upheaval to your life.
Yeah,
What happens, how do you handle it?
That's recorded and posted in the group, and along with the other 15, 16 episodes, if you want to watch that.
Yes.
Is it recorded in, do I go to like the events, or is it
I'll
just?
PM you how. It's recorded. I'll show you where.
Okay.
Jake, did you want to talk about your favorite part of the episode?
Jake.
He's been sitting here.
So I had a couple favorite parts. So my second favorite part was towards the end of the episode, just because I didn't remember this from when I had watched it before, but because Cisco was talking about, well, what if we're the dream and Benny's the dreamer? And then I was just thinking about that earlier in the episode. I'm like, so which one is a dream and which one is a dreamer? Is it Cisco dreaming of 1950s or whatever time frame that was, or was it Benny dreaming about Deep Space Nine?
Yeah.
So I was like, so I remember there was fair amount of controversy about this episode too, just around that idea. It was like, because some people were taking it like, well, is Deep Space Nine, the whole Deep Space Nine series, is that just a dream now?
Yeah,
so,
right.
So
It's
they
Dallas.
kind of had that, huh?
I said it's Dallas.
Yeah.
No,
So
we just let them go.
So they kind of had that same response that they had to the Enterprise season finale, except this one was actually written better. So
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Describe these are the voyages. God awful.
I wonder who wrote that. That poor man, whoever wrote that one. Slammed all the time. People
Yeah.
don't even watch it.
Words. Oh well.
So Jake, when's the last time you saw this episode?
I think that was like maybe about a year and a half ago, I think.
Oh, recent. Okay.
So I did my giant rewatch where I watched all Star Trek episodes and all movies and everything.
The list.
I finished that was it last spring, I think. So
did you follow your list?
Yes, I did follow the list from beginning to end.
What list?
Oh,
you have a list?
He has a list.
Why do you need a list? You just not watching it in order?
Yeah, so like you have like there's this chronological list of like all Star Trek episodes and movies and things.
Oh, really?
Because yeah, because you have like TNG episodes interspersed with like DS9 episodes and
Right.
Voyager episodes
Yeah.
interspersed
Okay.
with like Voyager.
So you're watching it
So
in time that they were broadcast, chronologically
well,
broadcast.
it is more or less when it was broadcast, but it goes a little bit more into detail than that. But
Okay. Like
But
some
you
things
didn't
could
watch
actually have
like
happened
all of
before.
DS9 and then all of Voyager.
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
I'm
watched,
hearing that.
you actually did that integration. I love it. That's
Mhm.
great.
Oh,
Like this dude has
wow. I
some
didn't even know there
serious-
was such a thing.
This dude
Yep.
has some serious brains when it comes to Star Trek chronology and Star Trek analyses. Honest to God, he has some serious brains when it comes to Star Trek discussions. You will see this when you watch
Okay.
episodes.
Okay, I guess that's two
Flushing.
people who will be banned from ever playing Star Trek Scene It.
I have that too.
Like honestly, this fella Jake is one of the most intelligent people to have around when you're having a deep discussion about Star Trek, and you can blush all you want. I do not care.
All right, I'm going to ask Jake a question. What's your favorite franchise series then?
oh boy,
Not your gateway one, not the one you came in on. Oh, it's going to make his brain hurt. Not the one you came in on, but the one that you identify that you like the most. They're all on. They're all on 5 different channels. Which one do you turn?
Jeez.
I'm sorry.
Probably Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine? Okay.
Yes.
Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine.
So I mean, it had the best writing, it had the best characterization, had the best actors. I mean,
It had the best story arcs. It managed to follow storylines through multiple episodes so successfully. Yeah. I love all Star Trek all the time. There's no such thing as Star Trek that I won't watch, but I'm definitely a Deep Space Nine girl.
Cameron,
You know what I just saw for the first time?
What?
What was that, Heather?
You even like the
What'd you say,
animated series?
What?
No.
You even like the animated series?
All right. Okay,
I was just going to say, for the first time, I
up.
just saw the animated series. The animated series is good.
For its time, yeah.
But we're not going to agree on
First time. We did a marathon. We did a Syfy Sistas New Year's Day marathon of the animated series. I had never seen it before 2021, January. And I fell in love with the animated series. I'm like, this is pretty good stuff. How did I miss this?
I don't know. I've not seen it.
Oh my God. Well, maybe we were drinking champagne and we were all, we were watching it, all together. So we had all the mics open when we were watching it. So it was ridiculous.
I love it.
Bim, come on. Bim. The guy that had his hands up here, his hands disconnected from his body. Oh my God, you didn't see that one? That's and Aurora had a really good one. Lorelei, was it Lorelei Siren?
I don't want to watch it.
Oh, come on. You're not a completist. If you haven't seen it, you're not a completist.
Heather, you're being also, I'm just above you all and I'm not going to get involved in this animated thing. Come on, you got to get it.
I'm probably not.
That is how I felt. I did not like anything animated. I wasn't even watching Lower Decks. I was like, I don't like animated.
And the animated series is what I'm saying.
Oh, but come on, you got the purple tribbles in that one. The purple tribbles.
Oh my God.
That's one thing.
No, I saw the story.
Keep the troubles away from me, okay?
You're not a trouble fan?
That trouble episode is classic. That one and the trouble with Henry or whatever, you got to see those two together because that's like, oh my God.
Sabrina, honestly, I saw the story about the tribbles in the center seat and I cannot. It was just an editing mistake. I cannot. They abused tribbles because of editing. I cannot.
Pink. Oh my God. All right. We're gonna have to
If you
drag
hate
you into
Tribbles,
watching the animated series with the Syfy Sistas because we love that stuff, man. That was some good stuff.
well, I don't know if I'd understand it, to be honest. And I get frustrated with things I can't understand. And then people listen or whatever. But Anthony,
Oh,
if you hate Tribbles, should I bring my farm to the next party?
Look
I
what
have
I
one of
did,
Science Division's
Sabrina.
animated.
I have a beautiful Tribble farm that you should meet.
You have a triple farm.
I do. They're on my shelf above my bed, but I can bring them if you like.
I have one from Science Division, one of Kaylee's,
Oh,
the interactive tribbles.
someday maybe I'll buy one. I don't know.
It's on
Oh
high.
my
Well,
God.
they're one of our sponsors, so what can I do? I have to have a triple.
There you go, plug.
Yeah. But I
No,
think,
I would have bought it even if she wasn't a sponsor.
yeah, this episode was absolutely beautiful, the diversity, and it was interesting. I felt very connected to it. Just, it shows that the world was at a very precarious place, and it still is at a precarious place. There's just a lot we still have to learn about ourselves and each other, and there was even a lot more at that point that we still had to learn.
That actually takes me back to my favorite part of the episode, which I don't know if it's my favorite part, but it was the most interesting just because I'm a white boy from farmland US. So I didn't get the experience or see anything, but like that so where you first meet Decat and Wei Yun and their like alter egos when they where Benny loses like the picture
Yeah.
and they start. So I think like Decat like stomps on it and they make like Benny go through this whole thing like accusing him of like stealing it they need to take him downtown and they need to run background checks and everything. And all he did was like lose a picture. He did nothing. He did nothing wrong. So that's one of the more interesting parts for me, just because I was like, okay, well, kind of raises questions like because I don't really know the history all that much. And like I said, I'm like from rural Michigan, so I never really got to like see a lot of different things because I think I knew like 2 or 3 Black people growing up. We had no Asians or Hispanics or anyone else. So, but so that just raises like interesting questions like, well, how period accurate was that? What kind of things did they go through when they
And I hate
were
to say it, but still are going through. It's, and it's so easy as a white kid who grew up in the suburbs and you to just be totally unaware. And it's our responsibility to educate ourselves. And that is unfortunately was a very good depiction of what happened and still happens all the time. I've got a friend he's Black guy who lives. He and I were good friends when we were both living in Boston, and he moved back to his family home in Kentucky. And he's my age. He's in his late 60s now. And when his daughters were going to college, one at Columbia and one at BU, he would sometimes drive from Kentucky to New York or to Boston. He never once made that drive without being stopped by the cops at least twice. I can drive across the country all the time and I never get stopped. And he was like, I'm driving across the country, I'm going to get stopped. And when he got pulled over, he had a routine. He put his hands up on the window so the cops could see them.
Exactly what to do.
Yeah, that was historically accurate, but it's not just historical, sadly.
Yeah. And it was interesting because I think they got it so right because number one, Benny wasn't in Harlem when he got stopped that night.
Right.
Two, it was at night. He was uptown. I mean, he was downtown, coming out of the office building. He had a suit on, and the first thing the guy said was, "Nice suit."
Right. Where'd you
So
get
he
that
was like,
suit?
"Where'd you get that suit?" He's like, who, what? Are you the janitor in there or something? I said, man, all of this was ringing very true. Because
Yeah.
it maybe if it had been daytime, you could get a pass. Because you're from Boston, right? You could be in
Yeah.
various parts of Boston during the daytime, but don't let the sun set on your black behind and
If
be
you're
in
in
that part
certain
of
parts
town.
of the, yeah.
Right. So as soon as he came out of there so late, I said, but they got this scene absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And then what was the other thing? He said, watch your tone and do you
Yep.
work here?
Yeah.
So there's like all the whistles. It was like my tone.
Yeah. Which there had been no tone.
There was no tone. He
Yeah.
just spoke back to him like, it's mine.
The only part of that scene that I didn't think was 100% historically accurate was a black man in the 50s. When he was leaving the cops, he would have said something like, "Sir." He would have said, "Sir," and
He would have.
and I was glad that they left that out. But historically, it's like, yeah, yeah. He would have said, "Yes, sir," or whatever. And glad they didn't put it in, but
I don't think Avery would have allowed it.
Yeah, he was the director there. So
It
I'm
was
from
on
Boston,
TV,
of
but
the
she
busing
didn't.
era Boston. So
yeah.
yes.
Louise Day
yes.
Hicks. Remember her?
Louise Day. Oh yeah, I
Oh
remember
my
Louise
God.
Day Hicks.
Oh my
And I'm
God. Yeah.
telling you, Boston still hasn't lived that reputation. Well, Boston, and it's funny because I always have to defend Boston because I am a Boston girl. I'm born
Sure.
and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. And it was that the most racist city I've ever been to. I was like, I don't know about all that, but yeah, we're pretty bad.
Yeah.
We're pretty bad. But I don't know if it's
Yeah.
any more racist than a lot of other cities. We just got caught at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think every city's got its issues, and yeah.
Yeah, we had a public school system in receivership, Judge Garrity had the public school system for like 20 years.
Right.
He was so messed up in Boston. I mean, Jesus. I mean, that was some scary stuff. I remember getting police escorted out of a school because we were on the basketball. I was the one black person on the basketball team. And my school went to play South Boston High. And Girls Latin
Oh
School
my
was playing
God.
South Boston High. Right. Okay, you know what's coming, right?
Oh my
This was at
God.
the
You went to
height of it.
Southie? Jesus.
We went into Southie, and we went in a bus, and I was on the basketball team. And I am telling you, as soon as we went in there, the rafters, the parents were watching, and you want to talk about, Heather, you were talking about getting called, somebody doesn't like you. You want to hear what was coming down at me from the rafters by the parents? They ended up having to clear the gymnasium of all parents so we could finish the game. And they were waiting outside. And we had to have a police escort to take us all back to the bus, and we had to skedaddle as fast as we could because cars were following us out of South Boston until we crossed D Street. We were like, holy shit. Now I'm there with 12 other little white girls. We were like, all my white friends, we were like 12, 13, 14, 15, not any older than that, scared out of our minds. So we were just like, oh my God, if something happens to this bus, these white people are going to come in here and they're going to kill all of us, not just me. They're going to kill all of us. So we were running. But and it was so bad because the cops were just like, just walk straight ahead, just get on that bus. And
at least you had the cops helping instead of
They didn't want to melee, but these were like white Irish cops. They were like, get the F out of here. We were like, listen, buddy.
Don't worry, we're leaving.
We're out. We out. But that was Boston is something, but I still defend it.
Yeah. And there's a lot of great things about the city, there's things I still.
Yep. When George Floyd went down, when that whole thing went down.
Yeah.
The people that called me to see if I was all right here in DC, the ones that called me were those girls that I went to high school with. The white girls that I went to high school with were the ones that called, and they said, I was telling you earlier, with the thing you can do is to empathize and to realize they were so concerned. I hadn't seen these girls in what, 45 years that we went to high school together. I'm getting text messages and emails. Are you okay?
Yeah.
I might be the only Black person they know. But they were like, I know this one Black girl I went to high school with. Are you all right?
I got to check in with her.
I was really surprised that I was getting that from these girls from the city that is supposed to be so racist.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing that we get back to, or I get back to, is that as individual people, we still can meet each other human to human, or at least many of us can. I hope we can, because it's the only way we're going to get ourselves out of this, is to just, one person meets one person, we connect, we meet another person, we connect, and we've just got to build on that.
It may be hard for us. It may be hard for us to care because we may have to stand alone. People may persecute us for caring, but we shouldn't forget to care.
Yeah.
We really shouldn't, because who else is going to care if we don't? We may stand alone in caring. It may be very lonely, but we need to care. We need to be our true, natural, caring selves. And it's going to be a lonely road, but at least we are caring, at least those who suffer.
You can't care about everybody and all this big stuff, you know what I mean? But you can really care about who is in your world.
Well, I can care about you, even if other people say don't. I can still be a good, caring.
I'm not saying don't. I'm saying you can't. Right. What you can do is right in front of you. Like you're having this.
This is my way of caring, even if people think it's stupid, even if many people don't come, even if many people don't support it. About like a few months in, somebody actually messaged me and we had a Zoom call and they tried to convince me to give it up because they didn't think I had a thick skin. Screw that. Like, I think that my skin is none of their business. They don't understand my history. They don't understand why I'm here, because I know what it's like not to belong, and I want others to avoid having that same feeling. I want people to have a place where they can feel welcome and accepted.
Yes, I noticed the passion and dedication present to your cause.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's why I said to you, just keep doing what you're doing. It doesn't matter, don't get concerned about the numbers. You stay true to the mission and it'll get there. It really will. And it's people know that you're true.
Yeah, and tonight's episode was special because it's like Benny fought for a story. He knew the first one didn't get picked up, but he cared enough to write others because he wanted to be the dreamer and he wanted to be the dream. The writing of the stories was the dream, and he wrote them because he was the dreamer of them. He believed in his world and his work so much that he was willing to risk everything for them.
Yeah.
And then when nobody else believed in them, and I don't know what happened to him after. There are fanfics about Benny Russell out there, but
well, then what's Images in the Sand, isn't that the episode where he's back in the mental hospital and he's writing on the wall?
Yes.
And Casey Biggs,
yes.
Yeah. So we do see what happens to him.
See Benny again.
Yeah.
Somehow.
And that's where I love it, where he, where Casey Biggs is the shrink at the psychiatric hospital, is trying to convince Benny that it's just all a fantasy, and Benny finally, just defiantly continues writing on the wall and gets the story out. That's one of the powerful moments of the franchise. It really is. It just
I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
So did I, to be honest.
Well, see, that's why we have to share these moments.
Yes, and that's why somebody will have to request that episode so we can continue with that. And
I'm gonna watch that episode as soon as we get off of here, because I gotta see that.
But it's hard to watch that episode without watching the follow-ups, because again, the whole DS9 managing to do arcs so well, but it's still, every episode's good. And is that the episode where Esri Dax is introduced? Yeah, that's the episode where
Yes.
Esri Dax is introduced.
Esri
Yeah.
comes in. Mhm.
Here's
Yeah.
the thing with
So-
that. I try to not do more than one at a time unless it's really, 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 really unique, because I don't want to overexhaust people with watching.
Right. Yeah, no. I think that you have to keep it for this sort of thing like this is discussion. You need to keep it a little bit more focused, because even just talking about one episode tonight, how many tangents have we gone off on?
But
Many.
I do
That's me.
take requests, PM them to me, because I will forget verbal requests. My Swiss cheese brain
Yeah.
does that.
Yeah.
But Jake had something to say. Yes, Jake.
Oh, yeah. I think there was like another episode later on in season 7 where Benny was in that one too, or something. I don't remember.
Okay.
I
Ooh.
thought there was like another one. I don't remember what it was called, but I don't think
Uh-oh.
Images in the
Okay.
Sand was the last time he showed up.
Okay.
Benny sighting.
cool.
It may. Now I'm gonna have to
Jake-
go back.
Yeah,
Images in
no,
the
we're gonna
Sand
have
is
to.
what I remember.
Jake, what is your background? What ship is that?
That's Voyager.
Oh, it's Voyager. Okay.
hmm
Awesome.
So I meant to do this thing. Heather knows this because I've said it a few times,
You
but
can say it as many
I was
times
like, I was
as you want.
Myself once.
I was gonna make it like themed background. So if we're like doing a Deep Space Nine episode, I was gonna do a Deep Space Nine background, but I just need to go in the Zoom background hunting to get those. So
And what is your cat's name? Your cat is pretty.
Oh yeah.
so my cat is so her name is Baby. So I got her from another couple that so they were trying to find her a good home. So so I got her for
You
free, and her name was Baby when she came to me. So I was just like, okay, I'll just keep the name. It's okay.
She's gonna answer. That's what she's gonna answer to. So you got to keep it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So anyway, we do take episode requests. If anybody has an episode they want to request, just
All Deep Space
Yeah.
Nine or any episode?
any episode.
Any? Okay.
Yes, Star Trek though. We just do Star Trek here.
So I was gonna make one comment that kind of went along with my comment earlier with the historical period. It's not Star Trek. So, but I just
Go
wanted to
ahead,
name
go
drop it.
ahead. We love
I
your
just-
comments, Jake.
So like Doctor Who, the Rosa Parks episode that was
Yes.
a
Oh,
few-
really? There's
a-
I haven't
Yes.
seen Doctor Who, but go
And
ahead.
that's a funny thing you bring that up, Jake, because watching Far Beyond the Stars play out, it reminds me of that episode of Doctor Who
Yeah.
where Doctor Who, sorry, quick spoiler warning, where Doctor Who has an effect on Rosa Parks and the civil rights movement as we know it.
Mhm.
What? Okay, I'm not a Whovian. So what episode
Jake,
is that
Jake,
called?
I'm really, really, really intrigued now. Oh my goodness. Is this like a quantum
Mm.
leap thing?
I've seen like one
So-
Doctor Who.
No, I mean,
So-
that's the last season, like last year.
Yeah, Jake, please, please,
Oh,
please.
it's new Doctor, the woman Doctor Who.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So
The
um,
woman doctor.
So I think it's like her first it was like in her first season. It was like the 3rd or 4th episode, I think.
Okay, I'm writing this
But it
down.
was that episode name is Rosa.
Rosa, yes.
Oh,
so-
okay.
So but you meet like Rosa Parks, she's pretty much in the whole episode, and then Martin Luther King has a cameo. It was just a great episode. I loved it. So it's kind of a
Doctor
Yeah,
Who.
they didn't pull any punches on that one either.
no, they didn't.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, I gotta watch
So-
that one then.
Yeah, you do. It's a neat tie-in for this episode. I know it's not Star Trek, but
I know, we're kind of very off topic, but
Who
we
cares? Honestly,
an
who cares? We never
acceptable-
stay
it's
on Star
acceptable
Trek topic, and
segue.
you know that. Who cares, honestly?
Hey, we've compared Doctor Who to Star Trek on Syfy Sistas. We did Darmok and Midnight together.
And besides, Alex Kingston was on Doctor Who, and she
Lack
was
of
on
communication.
ER, so
Which I'm sorry, which Doctor Who? What did you say, Heather?
Oh, that's tricky.
Alex Kingston was also on Doctor Who, and she was also on ER, and ER is one of my favorite shows.
Okay, well, you lost me. I don't know either one of those shows.
You don't know
Okay,
ER?
I
You're
watched
kidding
ER.
me.
I know
Only
it's
John
was it
Simon.
on?
No, I don't know. I must have been working when that came on.
ER was from the 90s.
Yeah, I was working.
I
The
cannot.
height of my career. There's a lot of shows in the 90s that I really didn't see because I was working so many hours.
Whatever.
I'm a tax accountant.
Whatever. I
I'm a
need to
tax accountant. What
interject.
can I say?
I just did a quick search. I was wrong. It's not images in the sand. It's shadows. It was Shadows and Symbols was the episode that
But
Ben
that's
Russell comes back in.
Well, that's,
That's the
Shadows and
second one?
Symbols.
well, if you want to
Yeah,
request,
I was right about it being when Esri Dax comes back, but I was wrong about the name of the episode.
Oh, okay.
that's perfectly all right. If you want to request that, please send me a PM. Otherwise, I won't. remember.
I will send you a PM, but especially since Sabrina said that she was going to try to watch it, you might as well watch the episode that we're actually talking about. So yeah, it's Shadows and Symbols.
I would have figured it
I had
out.
the
I would have figured it. I knew which one. I knew which one you were going for. So I would
Yeah,
have figured it. I
yeah.
don't know the titles.
You're
That's
no
not
fool.
true.
You
I
would have
do
figured
know
it
the
out.
titles. Yeah, I do know the titles now. It's really.
This is just, I mean, I just, have we really, what does it mean though? Now that we've seen the episode, what is being like, really, what does it mean? Even now, even with things really regressing, like historically, socially, what does it mean to be the dreamer in the dream? Have we really figured that out? Or are we still fighting with social regression?
You will always be the dreamer.
Wow.
In the dream.
I love how she brings this up at 20 of 11 my time. You have just introduced a discussion that will take.
You know what? People
Always.
said I ask the deep questions as a reporter. So
That's like extra homework. Take this home right over the weekend.
Right.
Extra
you
credit.
don't have to discuss this in depth, but I would like to hear some thoughts. If you've got any left in the tank.
Yes, someone besides me, please.
Oh, come on, Anthony. We have
Why
not
do you
heard that
say,
much.
you know what, that's
Jump in.
insulting, because I
Jump
like
in.
your philosophy.
Here we
Your,
go.
Your
I'm
cute
trying
self.
not to
With your cute
monopolize.
self. Let's go.
I pretty much said everything I had to say about the whole episode. My opinion, my take on that.
all
and
right,
how it affects
okay.
our society at large.
Okay.
I didn't say about the house society at large, but kind of like, okay, we trying to go, we know where we're going, we know where we're at, we know where we're going, we know where we've been, right? We've seen the whole 50s thing, we know where we've been. If you go to past tense, which is a few seasons before this one, the two-parter,
Yeah.
you kind of see where we're at now. And we already know where the final destination is. So it's like pulling out a metaphorical map of the road, trying to figure out, do I take the left at Chicago, or do I go right?
Okay.
But that's the thing. That's one, like I said, this is one of the reasons, in my opinion, why DS9 was one of the best series in the history of Star Trek. And Bluebeard, the producer.
Yeah, I know they talked about a lot of things still going on now, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is a terrorist? That's such a deep thread in this too. We just showed past tense for my MLK Day in the Syfy Sistas. No, it's a holder. So was it 2000? What was the year? 24?
It's coming up, yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was 24.
Yeah, 4 years from now. And it's funny because it does look, it does kind of look pretty much on point.
So, I mean, because you hear about these cities like because they're like so like homeless people they're not allowed to sleep on the streets or sidewalks or anything, but then they go then they have like their homeless camps. They go in and break up their homeless camps. So okay, well, where are they supposed to sleep?
Yep. Where it's supposed to go.
Yeah,
Why are they homeless? Like somebody was asking the other day, it's not where should they go, it's why are they there? You know, in the richest country in the world, how do you still have this happen?
addiction.
Hmm?
Addiction.
Addiction?
It's one of
No,
those
that's
things where
not.
we don't have a simple answer.
Partially addiction, and this is someone who was the daughter of an addict who eventually
But even
developed
if you
cancer.
have addiction, there still should be a safety net for people that have that,
Yeah.
that they're not out in the
It's
street.
honestly not so simple. I wish it was. I'm speaking as the daughter of an addict who developed cancer from their addiction and died from that cancer.
Okay.
So I have a little bit of knowledge.
A
Mm.
lot.
Oh yes, 27 years worth.
Oh, wow.
But it's like, and I also worked in the homeless mission before COVID.
Before COVID, you said? You
Yes.
said before COVID? Okay.
And it's
You
like,
do a lot of things, Heather. You're a nice
yeah,
person.
have you seen my resumes? I've done a lot. I was never one to sit by idly, and I hate sitting by idly now. It's awful.
Where are you located?
In Alberta, Canada.
That's right. Okay.
No, but it's like, I just, people, you know, they started out, when they start out in addictions, it's a choice, and then they become so dependent on it that they end up losing themselves to it. And if they don't get it, they die, and they do whatever they must to get it, even if it means sacrificing themselves and all they have.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they become homeless, and it's the saddest thing. And it's
They
not a
didn't
happy
address
answer.
that in past tense.
It's not a happy answer, but it's the answer I'm giving because I know the answer. It's a
That's
sad,
the answer you know.
and it's made everybody quiet, which is, I hope I didn't say something weird.
No.
Not weird, it's just heavy.
Yeah.
It is heavy. But it's a big problem. I mean, that's how it is. It's awful. People die from addictions every day, and there's not a dang thing you can do because they don't think that. Anyway, so does anybody else have an answer to the question I posed? I know it's a deep question. And I know we're all tired, but I am the one with the deep questions. It's my brain. God bless the neurodivergent.
You gave the deep answer, and what else has everybody else got?
Yes. Well, so it depends how you look at it. It could either be a dream or a nightmare.
Ooh.
But is it one that you could write your way out of? No? Is this one thing, or is my writer in a bad mood this week, forgot his coffee? Well, you asked, Heather.
I love your answers. They're always so entertaining and thoughtful.
Dankeschön.
I think that means thank you. I just don't know what language.
German.
It's German, not Dutch. I always confuse the two.
German.
Okay. So does anybody else have an answer? I know we're all tired. I promise I won't keep you here for much longer.
Well,
I know,
I'm
we don't have
actually
much
gonna
longer
have
in
to.
us.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hop off because I've got a really early morning tomorrow.
Okay.
And
I'm glad
so
you enjoyed yourself. I'm hoping you enjoyed yourself. Did you enjoy yourself?
I enjoyed myself. Yes, Heather, you're okay.
Yes,
No,
I
I
hope
really
you
did.
come
I'm
back
so
next week.
I will try. I just so everybody else knows, I have a every Friday night commitment. It's a Zoom meeting that I lead, so I can't not be at it.
Yes.
And it starts at 8. So a lot of times I don't eat dinner beforehand if I don't have time. So Friday nights are awkward for me, but I will definitely try to come again. I have so enjoyed this. This has been great. This has been great. And it's always nice to just kind of have people that don't mind when you start pulling out random Star Trek facts.
Yeah, I know it. Like, it just load us down. Tell us what happened.
It drives my daughter crazy. She is not a Trekkie.
Oh,
But she puts up with my trekkiness. But so often something will happen, and I'll be like, it's just like that time when Kai Wynn did, and she was just like, oh, please, will you stop?
and somebody else would know exactly what you're talking about.
That's right.
like my-
That's right.
My
now,
ex-husband
before
used to
you-
always say when somebody was really concentrating on something, he would go, "Oh boy, he's deep in the black towel." I'd go, "Wow,
Yeah.
really?"
Before you go,
People
I
were
will
like,
tell
"What is he talking about?"
Before you go, I will tell you that next week we're watching another Deep Space Nine episode, I believe, and we are cordially invited.
You already have.
Oh, yeah, the
I
wedding
love that.
episode.
The wedding,
Because
the
it's the
wedding.
Friday before Valentine's Day,
Perfect timing.
and we'll be talking about.
Oh
love
well,
and
we are
romance and Star
taping.
Trek
I tape on
and all that.
Fridays. Sorry.
Okay.
Well, hopefully I will be here for that. And that'll
Maybe
be,
I can. Yeah.
And yes,
Yeah,
we will
so-
include the couples of Discovery in all forms of Star Trek. So nobody is
I love it.
excluded in the talk of love and romance.
Well, then in that case, we'll have to talk about the episode where Dax meets her former husband, who's now a woman, and they have
Oh,
the
yes, we
first
will.
lesbian
Yes, we
kiss.
will.
Yeah, that's got to be another good one.
Yes.
Well, okay, well, I'm gonna hop off
All
now.
right, Cameron.
Lovely to
It's
see
nice
All of
meeting
you
you,
live
Jake.
long,
Nice meeting you,
prosper.
Cameron.
Wonderful meeting you. I will look forward to seeing you all again. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Bye. Thanks, Heather.
All right.
All righty.
I guess we're
Wow.
ending.
Yep, looks that way.
Did you guys enjoy yourself?
Yeah,
Yourself?
did or I did. I can't speak for Anthony, so
Oh, I liked it. Heather liked it. Jake, you liked it. The cat liked it.
We had a lot of people.
yeah.
That was incredible.
Oh,
so it was kind of funny. It was like because I was just finishing up the episode and my cat was just like she was sitting on my lap and she was just glued. Well, she wasn't really sitting; she was just standing. And I'm like, because my TV is like right here, like right next to me. So I usually watch from across the room, but the episode is finishing, so I was here waiting for, So my cat was just like glued, like literally like an inch away from the TV screen, standing on my lap and just like staring at like Francisco's head. it was cute, but
But what? It was great. I am so happy. We had so many people here tonight. That was amazing.
mhm.
Maybe it will get better.
There you go.
I am doing more to
Uh-huh.
I'm doing more to network to other Trekkies about us. So maybe it will get better.
Yeah. All right, let me let you go.
Thank you both for coming so much. Love you
See
both.
you next week.
take care.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Love you. Love you guys.
Love you both.
Mm.
Bye.
Sorry, it was covering the delete button.
Thank you all for attending this beautifully diverse discussion. Live long and prosper.